Hello everybody and welcome to Beelzebub's Buns channel. This is where you can not only watch gameplay videos, but you can also listen to creepypastas I write and narrate myself. As for this video, we are going to be looking at the Halo series, so let's jump right into it, shall we? I have an idea. 32 on 32? What? Looking at some of the campaign footage you see here in Halo 3, everything from vehicles in the actual playable level itself, to the vehicles just out of reach, and the skybox, or for a more broad audience, the background. You see that there are vehicles flying about. From humans to Covenant to Forerunner structures, everything looks massive, and it feels as though you are just a small part of the war that is going on. In Halo 5, you see that there's a lot going on in the background. Now, I know that the developers maintain the 60 frames per second for both the campaign and the multiplayer, but a lot of details were lost because of that. A real quick example would be explosions for vehicles, such as the Warthog blowing up just didn't look as epic as it has in other Halo games. I'm sure a lot of the Halo fans remember the explosion effect for the Warthog in Halo Reach. Now let's get back on track. Let's say in Halo 6, Warzone, if they were to bring it back, which I'm sure that there's be different variations of it, they're going to be tweaking some things from Halo 5, but if Warzone had 32 versus 32, sounds a little bit crazy, I know, but don't worry, I thought this out. Now, I'm not a developer, so in no way will I think being able to manage 32 players versus 64 altogether for a actual Halo match is going to be easy, and no way do I think that. I know that managing any lobby with just a few players from all around the world in of itself is quite a cool thing. There are reasons why I come up with this thought though, and I know many other people have thought about the number of players in a Halo Warzone match or a big team battle match. Maybe the number of players should be increased. If we have these other games that are being able to hold so many people, more than 16 players and more than 24 players in reference to Warzone, why can't Halo have this? Halo was a huge reason why a lot of people bought the original Xbox, so they could play System Link with their buddies, and it was a great campaign, awesome multiplayer, really revolutionized a lot of first-person shooters with the controls. And when Halo 2 was released, it took on the role of revolutionizing the way we play video games now. A lot of people take for granted the whole lobby system. Max Hoberman, now president of Certain Affinity, when he was working on Halo 2 and was an employee at Bungie, he worked on the idea of having this multiplayer lobby system where you would go in with your friends and you would go into a match that matched you with the same skill level as other players. Therefore, whenever you played a game, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time it would result in one team winning just by a few points. So the reason why I bring this up is that Halo has been known to revolutionize so many different aspects of video games, so why can't we have the next Halo game really change the way that we've played Halo before, and maybe even changing the way that we've played games entirely? So what if we bumped up this number from 32 versus 32 to 50 versus 50? I know this sounds really crazy, and the idea of it might be a little bit odd. Why would we want to have a game that, like Halo, being so balanced? What would be so fun having 50 versus 50 other than 100 players on a map? Obviously, the maps are going to have to be much larger. The gameplay is going to be different, but you can have different playlists. Of course, keeping the competitive spirit of Halo is probably found most with the 4v4 kind of games, where there's just 8 players on a map and you're trying to dominate the other one by either winning it by the last kill, the last point. And when it comes to like 100 players, I mean, we got so many different people with so many different skill levels. Keeping the 4v4 games or even the 5v5 games for team objective is obviously something that should always stay in Halo. But with as epic as Halo is, on the large scale that we see the campaign play at, where I said before we have so many different things going on in the background, I feel Halo should have this all-out warfare kind of playlist where each team will have all these different vehicles, from your very powerful ones to your little small agile ones like a mongoose, all available for the players until it's destroyed, and then obviously it would go into the respawn mode where it will come up later on during the map. Okay, games like Battlefield is kind of a great example of this. Now, of course, yes, Halo, I know it does play different from Battlefield, but the idea of having a huge map with a huge amount of players, being able to take different positions, if you die, no, you don't go all the way back to your base, but you respawn with your buddies, and going in and just having an all-out Halo kind of gameplay. Now, where I came up with the idea of this was actually looking at Battlefield 2142. This was released in 2006 for Windows and OS, and I know that a lot of people are probably really excited that Battlefield 1 coming out is set back in World War I rather than it being in the future. But Halo, if this were to play like Battlefield in a certain way with the massive scale, and the fact that Halo can get away with this because Halo has always been in the future. The first game was set 500 years into the future, so you're not breaching some type of integrity with the roots of Halo. You're only making it more vast, more variety to the game. When people say, hey, you want to play Halo? Oh, isn't that the one where you could play 50 versus 50? That would be pretty staggering to hear right now, and I know it sounds unorthodox, but that's the idea. And that's a feature that Halo itself, being an exclusive, can really skyrocket in sales when they come up with these things that us console gamers have never played before. The fact that you would take a Halo game and have hundreds of people on one large map, that sounds much more interesting, and a lot more people would want to engage in a game like that compared to games that we've had with, oh, that's a maximum of 16 players. We had 16 players back in Halo 1 on the original Xbox if you had System Link. When Halo 5 was in the midst of being released, they released the information for Warzone, how there's going to be 24 people. And that was awesome, and I really enjoyed that. But a lot of people looked at it as, oh, it wasn't necessarily the big team battle that we all know and love in Halo, where it's 8v8, 16 players. Well then, if that's the case, how about we make Warzone 32 versus 32 or 50 versus 50? That's going to turn some heads, and that's really going to change the way things are played in Halo. However, we left out an important factor. And before this video closes out, I want to say that what is going to play a big role in this is the actual console itself. I don't think the Xbox One can handle 50 versus 50 for a game like Halo, as of right now. But when we have the Xbox Scorpio coming out later on next year, and looking at the time frame in which Halo 6 will be coming out, or maybe even some Halos after that, like a spin-off, maybe we can see the 32 versus 32 or 50 versus 50 large-scale battles in the Halo games. That would be a reason to call in sick to work. Or school. Now, of course, just a few moments back, I probably said a keyword that really made some people feel disgusted in a way. Halo spin-offs. Now, Halo spin-offs can't be a bad thing if they're done correctly. I will agree that the Master Chief can get played out a little bit too much. Mario is probably the only character that we could stand seeing going through pipes for decades and decades, but the Master Chief is a little bit different. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as part of the reason for this channel is to bring up these awesome ideas on something that we are so passionate about, and create communication with each other. People that we have never met before, you never know how much you can have in common. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.